against the 9th seed Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi. You take a look at the names right there. Their starting five, their leading scorer, Neil Watson, comes off the bench. Very interesting the way Larry Eustachy has his team. And the leading scorer here, Rodney Magruder. And they start a freshman point guard, Angel Rodriguez. Our officials this afternoon, and some good ones, Carl Hess in his 20th NCAA tournament. Terry Weimer has officiated 5 regionals. And Gene Steratore, the NFL referee, is officiating his 4th NCAA tournament. So, boys, here we go. K-State and Southern Miss.
Interesting to see Angel Rodriguez, what kind of tempo and pace he's going to set for the Wildcats here tonight. Big stage for the freshman.
This is Rodriguez, who has had a nice spate of games here. And starting as the freshman, Spradling is out of Kansas City, Overland Park. Magruder had it with the whistle down low. And just a half minute into this first half, a look at 8th-year head coach Larry Eustachy, who was the coach of the year in Conference USA, and he's taken multiple teams to the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's been less than a minute, and he's already come out of his coat. You talk about tournament time when the pressure is already on Eustachy.
Lashay Page picked up the foul in tight. This is Magruder with another foul on the Golden Eagles inside in the opening moments of the game.
Well, that's going to be a battle for the Golden Eagles to try to keep Kansas State off the offensive glass. They led the Big 12 in offensive rebounding and among the tops in overall rebounding at a +5 rebounding margin. As I said, big, strong, physical team.
Rashard McGill picked up his first personal foul. Reggie K-State is 10-9 since January 1st. How did you see the way they finished their regular year?
Well, it's been somewhat up and down. If you had a chance to speak with Frank Martin yesterday, but he really felt that his team started to come on, especially in the Big 12 tournament, especially led by Rodney Magruder. His key is tonight is how is the freshman going to handle this big stage? At times he plays fantastic with a lot of poise, and other times he kind of gets lost in the shuffle out there on the floor.
We saw some full court pressure applied by Kansas State.
Mills tried to tank it in, the junior from Chicago, Jonathan Mills, all-conference USA selection with the whistle.
Well, you talk about the improvement of Kansas State, and really on the defensive end. Last 13 games, they only allowed about 60 points a game. Opponents shot about 41% from the field, 35% from beyond the arc. That's marked improvement from how they started the season.
So here is Mills at the free throw line, a 65% free throw shooter. You just saw Frank Martin in his 5th year. 3 consecutive seasons of NCAA tournament basketball for the Wildcats.
Yeah, his teams are always ready. They're well prepared, as we saw at the tip of the show, giving instructions to his team. They play hard. Everyone seems to be on the same page for Coach Martin.
That was a nice job by Rodriguez there in the stop and go. Just recognizing the opening. And Kansas State, again, looking to really pressure defensively, deny passing lanes.
Here's Bolden. Rashard McGill. Then off to Jonathan Mills. 25-8 record for the Golden Eagles coming out of Conference USA. Lashay Page with the miss and picked up inside. Rodriguez the other way. Magruder. Nice rebound by Jamar Samuels.
And that's what you talked about. Second shot opportunities for Kansas State.
Yeah, they go after it. Their front line understands who's going to shoot, and they get themselves in position.
Excellent move there by Mills to come over and take that charge right in the body, underneath the body of Rodney Magruder.
Well, you see right there, stepping outside the restricted area as a secondary defender. Just a nice job commanding that real estate, owning it, and taking the charge.
So Magruder picks up his first personal foul for the Wildcats, who come in 21-10. They had a Big 12 record of 10-8 this season. Last season, they made it to the round of 32 before losing to Wisconsin. Little floater inside, won't go for Angelo Johnson.
So far, the pressure of Kansas State picking up full court, allowing a lot of tough shots for Southern Miss.
Henriquez.
Too long. He is much too long inside for anybody on Southern Miss front line.
He has had a great spate of games as Jordan Henriquez. Last 5 or 6 games been terrific, and his shot blocking has been sensational for the Wildcats. Flying inside, Page had it knocked away.
Well, right on cue, Enriquez, and he runs the floor, as you see right there, not able to finish the lob.
Mills.
I guess he wasn't long enough on that one.
I guess, but he's had 28 blocks in the last 7 games for the Wildcats.
Look at Rodriguez, just stick.
Nice move inside, weaving Angelo Johnson.
Well, that's great defense by Rodriguez, but better by Johnson.
Last appearance for Southern Mississippi 21 years ago. This is their 3rd overall NCAA tournament appearance. Magruder, who is from Washington, D.C. and a junior. Rodriguez launching the 3. And picked up with the rebound by Lashay Page from Dillon, South Carolina.
Not necessarily a good shot. Didn't have his feet set. It was almost a bailout kind of shot.
Johnson again aggressive with his shot. Will Spradling off to Magruder.
Tell you what, Southern Miss getting back nicely now. Kansas State wants to run. They want to run and get some points in transition, but the black shirts are really clogging up that lane.
Spradling with a screen by Henriquez and a rebound yanked off the glass by Johnson.
Very important you stay with Spradling. Knock out the best 3-point shooter for the Kansas State Wildcats.
And they're getting on Mills, who missed. 4 minutes gone here in the first half of play from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Right now, difficulty getting entry passes in the post where Kansas State wants to go. Southern Miss has got K-State going side to side.
Samuels with the shot clock down to 3. Rodriguez is going to have to fire on the fly. And on the top of the backboard with a miss. 15:25 to play here in the early going. Poor shooting on the part of both teams. Larry Eustace is in his 8th season at Southern Miss. And for more, we welcome in Marty Snyder. Marty, good afternoon.
Good to see you guys. Good afternoon. As you mentioned, Kevin, it's been 21 years since Southern Miss was in the NCAA tournament, so there's a lot of expectations coming into this year. And on the selection show this past Sunday, it got into the second half of the show, and Southern Miss hadn't been called. So Eustace walked outside to get a breather, get some cool air, and he missed the moment. As soon as he came back in, the place erupted. He didn't see the name pop up, but everybody was celebrating. He knew Southern Miss was finally back in the tournament, Kevin.
And Marty, this is the 8th time he's coached this team through a season. They've had some lost seniors along the way, so it was kind of a rebuilding year. There's an interception. It's picked off by Martavius Irving, who just checks in and takes it into all kinds of defensive traffic. Reese Bolden gets the ball, but he has also taken teams at Utah State and Iowa State to the big dance. So this is familiar territory for him. And like we said, the first time with this Southern Mississippi team.
Well, there's no question that Larry Eustace is an outstanding coach of the year in the Conference USA. And, you know, he's a guy that insists on fundamental soundness, solid defense.
Well, the surroundings is familiar for Coach Eustace, not his team right now, only shooting 14% in this first half today. A little bit of nerves.
Well, I also think the size of Kansas State is bothering them. They can't get into the paint and shoot with any confidence because of the sheer size and length of Kansas State.
I'd like to see Lashay Page kind of get it going a little bit more for the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss offensively.
So far, Southern Miss has started 1-7. Irving from outside. Rebound clutched down to by Torrey Pelham, who just came in. Here come the Golden Eagles. They are 1 of 8 from the floor. K-State is 3 of 10 to start the game.
Well, right now, Southern Miss doing a terrific job on the defensive end, not allowing entry passes inside where the Kansas State advantage is with their size, forcing them to go east-west. If they can only get something started on the offensive end.
So I do like the matchup of Magruder on Lashay Page. That's Kansas State's best perimeter defender.
So Bolden, Johnson, Pelham out there with Rashard McGill. They go inside. This is Pelham. And a new shot clock and a turnover right there. The second for the Golden Eagles.
Well, you want to be relaxed, but you don't want to be too cool. And I think that time Pelham just kind of coolly threw the ball out there instead of focus.
Well, what Coach Eustace's going to do now is bring off the leading scorer on this Golden Eagles team, Neil Watson, the 5'11" Kansas City guard, 5'11", exciting in the open court. But this is also a new stage for him as well.
Murray State and Colorado State on CBS right now as you take a look at the other games going on atop your screen. All games live, all games national. Spradlin on 4 different networks with 7 minutes gone here in the first half.
Again, difficulty getting the ball inside. That was a bad angle to try to feed Enrique.
Little drive inside here. Neil Watson leading scorer. Southwell. Shane takes it up. Enriquez couldn't grab the ball. Here comes Watson again, a sophomore out of Kansas City, Kansas. Page. Rebound inside, grabbed onto by Southwell. Shane Southwell from Harlem, New York. Irving. Little mid-range shot will fly.
Yeah, in transition once again, Kansas State, they can't feed their bigs, so they're going to have to start taking the mid-range shots that are available as the Southern Miss defense continues to sag. And in transition, you get an opportunity.
Nice transition.
They're a lid down here on the Southern Miss goal. 1 of 12, 8.3% shooting today in the first half for Southern Miss.
Owen had that shot, and Gibson came up on him.
See if these guys can try to get something going to the basket. Talked about the exterior defense of Kansas State. Try to get something going to the basket.
Johnson takes it up and puts it in. The senior from Minneapolis, Minnesota. There's a transfer from USC. Transferred to Southern Miss. And he's been a starter ever since.
Boy, that was true the hard way for Johnson as he took an awful lot of contact going to the basket.
Shane Southwell. Spradling for 3. Nice rebound inside, but it couldn't be put back in by Henriquez.
You got to put that down if you're Henriquez. You're the biggest body on the floor. Use your size.
Darnell Dotson. He launches the 3 with a rebound clutched down to by Southwell. He's one of the first players off that K-State bench. Irving. Horrendous shooting to begin the game. Watson. And outside they go. Page.
Finally in transition, Lashay Page trailing the play. Watson doing a good job of finding him in transition.
Out of bounds it goes with Kansas State on top by 2. They've led by as many as 7. Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship will continue after this word from your local station.
Up by 1. A minute to play in the first half. Back to Pittsburgh.
Thank you very much. In the first 4, we saw some pretty sizable comebacks, which was fun to get the tournament started.
They were totally unbelievable. You know, the Western Kentucky comeback in such a short period of time, and in BYU, 25 points down, Iona just gave it up.
Noah Hartstock, unbelievable shooting the basketball for BYU.
That's Lashay Page who comes through. A 7-0 run so far for the Golden Eagles, who started 1 of 12, and since they've gone 3 of 4 from the field.
And they've been able to get it in transition, continue to move the ball, look for those open shots, and actually pulling the trigger on those open shots.
I think the pressure really has stepped up with Neil Watson coming in for Southern Miss.
Gruder is in. There's Rodriguez. Kansas State started 3 of 5. They've gone 1 of 10 since. Rodriguez outside. Magruder. That's a 3.
Well, Rodney Magruder, 7th in the Big 12 and scoring 10th in field goal percentage. The last 3 games, he's averaging about 21 points per game. So he's the hot hand for Kansas State if they can ever get him the ball where he can use it.
Well, the key with Magruder also, he does it at both ends of the floor. He's guarding the best perimeter player in Lashay Page for Southern Miss.
Magruder starting his 66th consecutive game this afternoon for Kansas State. Shot clock at 15. A little drive inside by Mills. Rebound Southwell, who's come in and been grabbing some rebounds. That is his 4th. As Rodriguez tried to get it ahead to Jamar Samuels and out of bounds. Coming up on the AT&T at the half. Scores and highlights and the latest NCAA tournament news. That's all coming up on the AT&T at the half. With 9:32 to play here in the first half.
Curious which one of these teams Both are getting back in transition defense, but it's the easy ones. Second shot opportunities and transition baskets.
Magruder with 7, now Magruder with 9. Takes it inside, hit a 3 just before.
Well, tough gamble by Angelo Johnson. He gambled, took the risk, and lost.
And there's no way Angelo Johnson with that size is going to be able to handle Magruder down low. A couple inches taller and gives up about 15, 20 pounds in the post.
Well, for the most part, along that front line, that has been the matchup disadvantage for Southern Miss.
Angelo Johnson with the miss. Rebound by Henriquez.
Talked about Magruder down low, the leading scorer for the Wildcats. Look at Angelo Johnson. He gambles right there and reaches, which allows Magruder with that size and good hands. The easy basket. No weak side help for the Golden Eagles.
Mills picks up his first personal foul.
Yeah, you saw Jonathan Mills on the last play as well come over and help a little bit too late. You got to be aware of any kind of mismatch down low if you're the help side.
Southwell, Magruder, Spradling. We got Henriquez down low. Magruder right here.
That time Johnson held his own.
Samuels, the 5th Wildcat on the floor with the galloping drive. Dodson picked up by Magruder. He'll take it up and fouled on the play. And count it for 2. Kansas State has equaled their biggest lead.
Once again, lackadaisical ball handling, and Kansas State turns it into 2 as Magruder gets down the floor quickly off the steal.
We talked about easy opportunity baskets in transition. Thus far, it's been Kansas State getting all the easy baskets.
Now the last 7 points all by Kansas State, and Len the last 5 games for Rodney Magruder, averaging 20 points, shooting 50% from the floor, leading the team in scoring as we mentioned before. He is such an important part of this Wildcat team.
Yeah, I mean, he does it both from beyond the arc as well as we saw, in transition. And he gets the mismatches. He's got the ability to score on the block as well if Kansas State can exploit those.
Southern is shooting 22% from the field.
Look at him doing a terrific job there on Lashay Page, denying him.
Page got the screen, fires up the 3, screened by Bolden, and they get the offensive rebound. Bolden grabbed it.
And you're wondering who is going to score other than Lashay Page on the floor for Southern Miss.
Page, nice drive along the baseline. Lashay Page, he's got 7 to lead the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Magruder needed help on that. He pushed Page towards the baseline, but no one stepped up quickly enough.
And that's the right thing. You sit in the baseline, you're expecting Henriquez with that size to come over and form that wall.
Nice.
Getting it in once again on the doorstep. Henriquez twice now has tried to take it in, and twice has missed. Foul goes on Holden.
Well, you're taking the length right here. Henriquez, he's got to put one down eventually.
All Big 12 second team selection, Rodney Magruder with 11 points to start this game.
Well, he's been efficient when he's been able to get his hands on the ball. And Magruder, again, with his size at 6'4", the ability to shoot it from beyond the arc, as well as post up smaller opponents. And as long as his teammates can find him and force the defenses to focus on him, he definitely will be able to get the job done.
At the free throw line is Jordan Henriquez from Port Chester, New York, to the Winchendon School. We talked about his block shot prowess over the last 7 games. We told you about the nice little streak he's been on for the K-State team, Reggie, that had big wins. They won at Baylor February 18th. They won at top 10 Missouri February 21st. 2 top 10 wins on the road for the Wildcats.
In fact, they beat Missouri twice, and really it was when Frank Martin went to Henriquez and asked him, look, you can be a big part of this team. Just do all the little things. Don't focus in on scoring. Block shots, rebounds, and the scoring will come. And it's exactly what he's done to get these guys ready for this tournament.
Samuels picks up his second personal foul.
Yeah, when you talk about Henriquez, with his length inside, he deters most folks from going in trying to post up. You see what's happening here with Southern Miss. Their inside players are pretty much rendered ineffective because of the length of Henriquez.
Freshman Thomas Gibson is checked in for the Wildcats. 7.5 to play in the first half here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with a slashing move inside by Neil Watson. All 5'11" of them. Get exclusive in-game video highlights, up-to-the-minute scores and stats of all NCAA March Madness games at ncaa.com. Foul goes on Watson, Len, for the first time.
Well, it comes down to being able to step up and take away that lane. And for the most part, Kansas State, we talked about them being a rugged defensive team. They don't mind putting their bodies on the line.
I'm not sure Spradling was there on that weak side play. That might have been a bad call there. Watson picking up his first foul.
Gruder again. It leads all scores with 11 points. He's got it right now, getting a screen, and that's another jump shot that falls. Enriquez with the screen. 11-2 run by Kansas State.
Nice down screen for Magruder right there. And now he has the offensive rhythm for the Wildcats.
Well, we said if they can get him the ball, he can take care of the rest. He's got good advantage over anybody who's defending him right now.
Nice move by Watson to get free. Little jab step got him that shot from 3.
Well, coming off the bench, again, you get a guy like Neil Watson really injects energy into your attack, and right now he's starting to get it going.
6.5 in the first half. That is an offensive foul.
Well, if you're Southern Miss, you're fortunate to only be down by 6 points and shooting 28%. We talked about at the top, they only shot 41% from the field on the year. Got a lot of their points from the free throw line because of their drive and attacking aggressive style.
Gibson picks up his first personal.
Right now, you see Kansas State trying to step up the pressure. But, Reggie, you're right. One of the other reasons for their poor shooting is every one of those shots have been challenged.
Right.
Every one of the shooters for Southern Miss, for the most part, particularly on the perimeter, they have a hand in their faces. K-State really stepping up their deep. Rodriguez. Still only down 6.
Yeah, no kidding. And Rodriguez picks up his first personal foul. Check out.
Rodriguez goes out. You bring in Martavius Irving, who's another pretty good on-ball defender for the Wildcats.
One-time starter was Irving for the Wildcats, starting the first 14 games for Kansas State. Nice weaving move inside. That's Neil Watson from Sumner Academy, All-Conference USA selection.
Well, again, that's the leading scorer for this team. And he comes off the bench, instant offense. As I like to say, guys like that, instant offense, all you got to do is add minutes.
And he's number 2 in the conference as Watson in assists.
And you're wondering why he's coming off the bench when he's your leading scorer. And speaking with Coach Larry Eustace, he says he just feels much more comfortable reading the temperature of the game before he comes in. Nice move there by Watson, using that screen down the lane as well as the glass.
Gibson just picked up his second personal foul and goes back to the bench. Page with the miss. Nice rebound by Torrey Pelham. Outside Watson.
Wow.
That's another 3 for Watson.
It's elementary. Watson getting it done right now.
K-State has led by as many as 9. Southern Miss has never led. Southern Miss having scored in the last 4 possessions.
And it's been led by Neil Watson, the Sumner Academy sophomore. Instant offense, 8 points, and really his driving ability, but stretching the floor from second shot opportunities for Torrey Pelham has allowed the Golden Eagles to pull within 1 to Kansas State.
Lenny, the backcourt, has only scored 19 points. I say only because the front court just 1 point so far for the Golden Eagles.
As we mentioned before, the size of Kansas State really bothering the front court players for Southern Miss.
Got a couple of Kansas City kids here, but one is playing for K-State, and Marty, the other's playing for the Golden Eagles.
Funny how that happens, isn't it? Neil Watson, as you said, from Kansas, but went to Southern Miss. His best friend in the world is Will Spradling, the man guarding him right now on the court and trying to slow him down a little bit as well. They first got to know each other in 8th grade. They shared the same backcourt in AAU for years, and they really grew up together and became best friends. His first reaction was Watson's when he found out they were going to play them in round 2. He texted him and said, of all the teams in the world, I've got to play you. And they've smiled about it. They've texted back and forth, but they haven't talked a lot since they've been here in Pittsburgh. They do plan to spend some time together after the game. However, I think Will Spradling right now, though, the guy is trying to figure out how to slow his best friend down a little bit.
That's a great story. Bolden picked up his second personal foul. Spradling from Shawnee Mission South High School in the Kansas City area, committed very early to Kansas State with Magruder here at the line for the Wildcats.
Yeah, there's so much familiarity among players, and NCAA basketball. That's why the parity has increased. You got guys who played together. There's no more intimidation on the name on the front of the shirt.
Yeah, but Spradling, the third leading scorer on this Kansas State team, almost a little over 9 points a game. He has a goose egg thus far, so he's got to pick up his scoring. Maybe trying to guard his best friend, Neil Watson, is taking a lot out of him.
Spradling averages 9 points a game, but when he's in double digits, K-State is 8-1, so he's an important guy. Magruder has 11 of Kansas State's last 13 points. Shot clock here for Southern Mississippi is down to 5.
Got to break down the defense. Your Johnson.
Nice looking stroke right there by Angelo Johnson. He's got 7 and his first triple.
Break down the defense and then just pull up for a 3 there, Lynn, to tie this ball game up.
Yeah, that's the consummate point guard play. Under 10 seconds, you put it in a guy's hands. He's got to make something happen for himself.
Offensive foul on Kansas State as we're in the midst of our second tie.
Or for others right here, and using that screen. Just a nice job on the pull-up. You take a look at that shot clock above you. He took that shot with 2 seconds left and buried it with nothing left on the shot clock.
Man. Three balls falling now. Reggie for here. They're going to take it inside. Watson. Oh, knocked away with a great swipe at the ball by Jordan Henriquez with another block.
Isn't it nice to have a big man down low? This is the way Lynn Elmore used to do it back in the day, coming over weak side with the block shot.
I guess your father used to tell you that. Were you born back then? No.
I've seen video, big fella.
Unfortunately, though, for Kansas State, Martavis Irving called for the blocking foul, and Watson's on the line.
So Irving. We find the 25 wins for the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi, the third most in school history, the most since the early 70s. We told you just 2 previous NCAA appearances for this team. As we've got the first lead of the afternoon for Southern Miss.
Remember, Southern Miss led Conference USA in bench points, about 27 per game. That's 14th in the nation, and it's kind of peculiar. You know, their best scorer comes off the bench, and Neil Watson, but you see it's effective.
Again, they go upstairs. Finally, it falls for Henriquez, who's got 6.
Big fella's just got to take his time. He's got the size advantage. Once he gets his hands on it, he's just got to elevate and extend and not rush.
And he has good hands as well. He's able to catch those lobs.
Ooh, there's a player down, and that is not good news. Torrey Pelham, a senior from Nashville, Tennessee, who is a terrific offensive rebounder and a very accurate shooter, is injured.
Yeah, it looked like it could have been his ankle as he was rolling down on that high pick and roll. That right ankle just goes right onto the foot and twists.
In Pittsburgh. Back here in Pittsburgh, taking a look now at the Infinity Coaches Spotlight. He was an unknown to casual basketball fans just 4 years ago, but he's the first Wildcat head coach to post 5 consecutive 20-win seasons, Len.
Well, Frank Martin's an outstanding recruiter, and that's what everybody knew about him. But now he's emerged as an outstanding coach, and he's one of those guys, again, that stresses the fundamentals and discipline.
So 3:32 to play here in the first half. And Southern Miss, Reggie, began 4-19. They've gone 5 of 6 since.
And really, it's been the Neil Watson show in this first half, really settling down Southern Miss.
Oh, he didn't get away with it. I thought he was going to get away with the travel.
We just saw an injury to Torrey Pelham. Marty, what's the latest?
Checked in with Yuji Katsua, the trainer for Southern Miss, and he said that Torrey Pelham will be fine. They're going to retake the ankle at halftime. He stood up the entire time. In fact, Coach Isu asked him at one point, "Are you okay?" Stacy asked him, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine to play, Coach, but let's wait till the second half."
I tell you what, it's significant that he can come back at 6'6". He's one of those few rebounders on this Southern Miss team that can compete with Kansas State.
Murray State playing Colorado State. They're starting the second half. That's over on CBS. You see scores and games on top. 4 networks carrying every game wire to wire.
Magruder is just putting on an offensive show here in this first half for K-State.
17 for Magruder in the contest. 6 of 10. He's hit a 3, 4 of 5 from the free throw line.
Back-to-back walk calls here for Southern Miss. You can't afford to turn the basketball over come tournament time. Possessions are so key when they're limited because you're not getting a lot in transition. Your half-court offense has to be very efficient. You cannot turn the basketball over.
Well, you see what the problem is. Again, though, getting in the paint. And then you got Enriquez to deal with. And usually guys start stumbling and fumbling when the big fella comes over.
Rodriguez for three. And some feisty rebounding across the lane with 2.5 to play in the half. We've had 3 ties. We've had 2 lead changes. The Wildcats of Kansas State have led by as many as 9. Southern Miss has had a lead of 2.
Well, again, I talk about Enriquez and how he's holding down the middle. Over the last 4 games, he's been averaging about 4 blocks per game.
He's been terrific. Squeezing it up, Maurice Bolden, the senior from Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, they're going to need to go to the body of Enriquez because of his size, trying to get him in foul trouble. The longer he's on the floor, he's been very disruptive to the offense of Southern Miss.
Spradling against his buddy, Watson. You just heard that great story from Artie Snyder. Magruder for 3.
That's a tough 3, a challenge 3.
Watson the other way and in a hurry.
You see Enriquez right there to be the goaltender. And what's happened when Southern Miss is successful getting the ball inside, usually it's Mills staying outside, keeping Enriquez away from the basket.
Yeah, but Mills needs to use that. He's smaller than Enriquez, but go into his body, use his size.
Over Spradling, Watson for 3, and a rebound yanked down by Jordan Enriquez, who's got 5 rebounds already.
Yeah, he's been in position to get the rebounds as well as thwart anyone who has intention of laying the ball out.
37% shooting for Southern Miss, 41% shooting for the Wildcats at Kansas State. Out of bounds, 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Shot clock running down here, and look at this nice move here by Bolden, finally getting on the score.
And you notice where Enriquez was. He was up at the free throw line guarding Mills, and he came down too late.
Run inside and a good-looking shot on the fly. Angel Rodriguez, a freshman from Miami, Florida, who became a starter in mid-January.
Well, you see a little bit of miscommunication there by the Southern Miss defense, and by the time they get it together, as you see Mills trying to come over and draw the charge, Rodriguez has already let the ball go, and he's a freshman, but he's about as cool as they come right now. No facial expression whatsoever.
Angelo Johnson picking up his second personal foul.
Think about some of the shoes he's had to fill at that point guard position. There was Clemente here. There was Jacob Pullman last year, who 4-year starter playing overseas right now. Now you have a freshman at that position. And you know Frank Martin can be very tough on his point guards.
The drive here by Page. He's out there with Watson and Bolden, Jonathan Mills and Angelo Johnson. Enriquez with a block.
Now watch Enriquez follow the play right there. Looking to pick up. You got to start looking for Mills, who's got to roll to the basket. There's Mills right under the basket. Once you see Enriquez come to you, find 24.
Enriquez, the Kansas State career leader in blocked shots.
And then you know, as being a big man, you got to set some screens. If you want these guys, Mills and Bolden, to play hard for you, you got to give them the ball occasionally down low.
Screen by Bolden. Watson. The hustle of Rodney Magruder. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
You're right, Reggie. You got to feed the horses. You want them to work.
That's right.
That's good. I like that one.
I've been using it all my life.
I know. But it just sounds
persuasively.
New game, yes, exactly. Watson will inbound.
And they know the shot clock is running down.
They had to fire that one with Bolden hoisting it. Rodriguez right underneath to Magruder.
Back defender fell down. Magruder might have had a layup had the pass been on the mark.
Shot clock is now off, and you can see 18 seconds to play in the first half. K-State 44% shooting. Southern Miss 34% shooting. Little shove on the wing. With 8.2.
Is that a holding on Bolden?
I don't think so. Magruder will be at the line, and now there's some confusion as to who should be at the stripe for the Wildcats. Lenny, we have a rebounding advantage of 2 for Southern Miss. This goes against what the paper says in front of you in terms of a size advantage for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and what it comes down to is sometimes shot blockers like Enriquez, they get themselves out of position, and that allows the other team to be able to get some offensive rebounds. But here, Southern Miss will battle you. There's no question about it.
Bolden did pick up his second personal foul. And here is Rodney Magruder at the free throw line for Kansas State. 4 of 5 so far from the stripe.
Yeah, 18 points thus far here in this first half for Magruder.
He averages 15 a game.
Well, you come tournament time, you want your best players, obviously, to step up, play big.
Here they go the other way. Page knocked away beautifully by Spradling in 2.9, and he is injured.
Yeah, Page goes down. I don't know if he twisted his ankle going by Spradling or not, but he gets up with a little gimpy right ankle. See the long rebound here by Page. He tries to split the 2 defenders.
Looked like he stepped on Spradling's foot.
2.9. Henriquez right in front as the 5'11 Watson will inbound for Southern Mississippi. They'll get it with a screen by Mills. Good if it goes. That takes us to the conclusion of the first half. Magruder puts in 18 points. Watson has 10 for Southern Mississippi. A look at Larry Eustace. Southern Miss just 2 points in the last 4 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, it's been a crackdown inside by Enriquez, but Southern Miss holding their own on the offensive glass.
And let's swing it over to Marty Snyder.
Well, Frank, you had the big lead. How did Southern Miss get back into it?
I made some substitutions, and we had some bad breakdowns defensively, gave them shots, and they got good shooters. They're going to make shots. My concern isn't that. My concern is offensively. We became inept there for a little while.
All right, go talk to your team.
Thank you.
Kansas State up by 3 here at the half. Kevin?
They couldn't knock down the 3, though. 1 of 8 in the first half for the Wildcats. The 8th seed over the 9th seed Golden Eagles by 3. We send you to the AT&T at the half after these messages as you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Take a look now at the LG box score. You see some of the numbers through our first 20 minutes of basketball here in this second round, East Region, round of 64. The 8th seed against the 9 seed. Kansas State and the Golden Eagles, Marty, of Southern Miss. Take it away.
Kevin, a couple quick injury updates for Southern Miss. Both Torrey Pelham and Lashay Page had to have their left ankles retaped. Lashay Page did fall on that left ankle at the end of the first half right there, but he told me he will be fine for the second half and expects to play the entire second half. I also did talk to Larry Eustace, and he said, you know what, we've got to get this pressure off of us. We're too tight. We've got to loosen up and play our basketball, following up on what he said, and Mills has to get involved in this game. That's our biggest key.
Len, what are you going to watch here to begin this second half?
Well, I expect Kansas State obviously to amp up the defense if they can do it anymore, deny and not allow Southern Miss to reverse the ball as they want.
Well, if you're Southern Miss, you've got to get and continue to get buckets in transition so that Kansas State defense can allow to get set up.
Angelo Johnson taking it inside as we start things off. Also on the floor, Rashad McGill for the Golden Eagles. A foul right there on Will Spradling of Kansas State. That is his first. Lashay Page is on the floor. Johnson will inbound. And they've also got Maurice Bolden, who's at 6'10" and the tallest player on this team.
Well, other than Neil Watson and Lashay Page, it's got to be Angelo Johnson offensively for Southern Miss. You would like to see Mills or Bolden kind of get it going down low, but really it's going to be the three-headed monster of those perimeter players.
Going inside, another knockaway right there, the third block shot for Jordan Henriquez.
This is outstanding defense by Jordan Henriquez. Look at coming over the weak side. This is his third block against one of those smaller players for Southern Miss.
Yeah, and Mills is trying to keep him outside, keep him occupied, but Enrique is pretty much ignoring Mills outside and going to the penetration.
Enriquez along with Jamar Samuels on that big front line for the Wildcats. They got Magruder along with Spradling and Rodriguez in the backcourt for the Wildcats. That is a foul on Kansas State. It'll be the third on Samuels.
If Bolden or Mills can't get going offensively down low for Southern Miss, it's going to make it very difficult for the perimeter guards of Southern Miss to continue and put pressure on them to make outside shots.
Well, you see, Southern Miss went to Bolden right away. Got to start playing inside out.
Absolutely.
Larry Eustace has relied heavily on transfers from D1 schools, junior college kids. Only 9 players who play the most minutes on this Golden Eagle team. You find where they've been, only one of those 9 played his freshman season at Southern Mississippi. So he's had to kind of put some pieces together, but it's worked. Another 20-win season for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, you had 5 seniors from last year's team graduate. This is basically a brand new roster for Larry Eustace, but he's finding it to work. But according to him, this is his closest team that he's had since he's been with Southern Miss.
Little shove that's going to go on Maurice Bolden on the drive by Jamar Samuels.
Yeah, Bolden put both hands on Samuels. You got to be able to play defense without utilizing your hands. As coaches always tell you, play with your feet, cut off the angles.
And so that's the 3rd reg on Bolden. Samuels for Kansas State has 3. There goes Bolden, and coming back in the game for the first time in the second half is the senior Darnell Dotson.
Dotson's another player off the bench who can score with the best of them. 3rd leading scorer on this Southern Miss team. That's good work down low by Mills, fronting Henriquez.
Spradling off of Henriquez screen. Magruder right to the left, counted for 2 and a foul. Nice play, 20, a game high for Magruder.
Well, Rodney Magruder picking up where he left off. 18 points in the first half, and here an opportunity to put it on the floor. Going underneath that screen, you got to get some help on that exchange of the ball. Somebody's got to step out and take that lane away.
Magruder picks up his 2nd personal foul. Counting the basket, but Magruder picks one up, and here they come the other way with Rashard McGill. Mills outside the 3, and it falls once again. Lashay Page. He's knocked down 2 triples, and he's got 10. Rodriguez the other way, falling a bit short and sailing out of bounds.
Here's the problem when you get into a trapping mode like Kansas State. You're allowing the shooters like Lashay Page to be wide open on the weak side.
2 minutes gone here in the second half.
You see Kansas State backing off of that pressure.
Right.
Southern Miss very aggressive at attacking the pressure, and they want to get an easy shot. And that's how you get the press off you.
Angelo Johnson working his way and Spratling defending for Kansas State. Johnson on the fly over Henriquez, and a nice rebound by Jamar Samuels, his 3rd.
No points in that first half for Samuels and Spradling. It was all Rodney Magruder.
Magruder again on the fly. Picks up another 2. 22 points.
Give Henriquez all the credit. He was double teamed, didn't panic, turned and faced the defense. A lot of guys are really hesitant to face the defense when being double teamed because that's what the open people are.
I told you, Magruder's 2nd team All Big 12 selection. He was also on the all defensive team too, so he plays both ends of the floor.
Good ball pressure there by Irving against Angelo Johnson,
who chisels his way for 2. Angelo Johnson with 9.
Held a big fella off.
Sure did.
Latavius Irving in the contest, Spradling and Sanders. Henriquez. That's a foul inside on Southern Miss at the 16:48 mark of the second half, in coverage of the 2012 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship begins Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. For more information on the game and the various times and listings, go to ncaa.com. At the free throw line is 52% free throw shooter Jordan Henriquez. He was a teammate in high school of Kemba Walker, who played for that UConn National Championship team last year, who was the most outstanding player for the Huskies. Samuels will check out, and they'll bring in Ogilvy, the senior from Ottawa, Kansas. Victor Ogilvy coming in for the first time.
Wide body, rebounds, set screens. Does a lot of the dirty work for Frank Martin's inside core.
Pushing the pace once again with Angelo Johnson. Screen by Mills. Trying to knock out Henriquez. His 15-footer won't fly. Picked up on the play by Henriquez, who was fouled. And that's a third on Johnson.
Larry Eustace is livid with Angelo Johnson. Talking about the ball is stopping. Move the basketball from side to side.
It's easier said than done, though, when K-State steps up and starts to overplay. And then you got to put it on the floor, but you still have to go somewhere with it. You have to have a purpose.
Watson will check in. Dodson is in the contest. Mills remains, as does Page. Dodson is the 5th Golden Eagle on the floor for Southern Mississippi. Henriquez. Magruder. That's a 3. Picked up by Watson. Smallest guy on the floor, 5'11". Lashay Page, another 3. The great equalizer in the college game.
Absolutely, and Rodney Magruder not playing Page. He did a good job on him in the first half, forcing him to 3 of 9 shooting. But Irving that time just a little too small on the challenge.
Page has 3 threes already for the Golden Eagles.
Looks like that ankle has loosened up in that second half.
Well, you asked him before he came out here. He said he was okay, gave you the nod. Henriquez.
No, he certainly can knock down that shot. If you're Southern Miss, you'll give that to Henriquez.
See, Mills has to be a threat right now. He's allowing Henriquez to kind of pretty much play a one-man zone in that paint. He's got to turn and face and be a threat, force Henriquez to play him, which allows opportunities for other guys at the basket.
Watson on the fly. This is the biggest lead for Southern Mississippi. They've got a 12-5 start here in the second half.
Watson and LePage have a good bounce offensively to their step. They're getting anywhere they want on the floor here.
Magruder has been the big scorer for the Wildcats in this game. Knocked away, 14:39 to play in the second half with the 9 seed leading the 8 seed.
Meanwhile, over on CBS, Murray State with a double-digit lead on Colorado State. Back to Pittsburgh, Ken, Len, and Reggie.
You got it, Greg. Thank you. A 4-7 start for the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss here in the second half in Pittsburgh, including hitting both of their 2s to start things from halftime.
How about Lashay Page, the start of this second half, already knocking down 2 threes.
Page 3 of 6 in the game from beyond the arc.
We were wondering how that ankle was going to respond, having it tweaked in that first half. Just a catch and shoot. He's 3 of 6 from long distance. The Golden Eagles today 6 of 13 from beyond the arc.
Dodson just picked up his first foul.
Well, I'll tell you what, that opportunity from beyond the arc. You take a look at strong, stout defense by Southern Miss. Look at the hustle.
That's great. You want to win in advance, you got to do the little hustle things.
Picked off. Magruder with a trailer. Rodriguez. Magruder. He gets the steal. He's got his 24th point this afternoon.
And he's also got the foul. As you take a look at Neil Watson trying to defend, there's a steal on a silly cross-court pass. And Watson just trying to get in his way commits the foul. Sometimes discretion's got to be the better part in that when you give up the layup.
Watson picks up his second personal foul.
When you talk about the silly pass, that's a silly foul by Neil Watson. You got to grab him. You know, put him on the free throw line so he makes 2, but you can't give him an and 1.
Well, I don't know. You can't grab him in college because you'll get a flagrant 1. You're not making a play on the ball.
Well, make a harder play on the ball
exactly.
than Neil Watson just did.
Magruder's got 25 for Kansas State. The rest of the team combining for 13. 5 of 17 shooting for the rest of them.
And you see Rodriguez really making a special effort to try to deny Neil Watson, the guy who's single-handedly carrying his team, just as Rodney Magruder is doing for K-State.
Mills was driving. And that's a foul on Kansas State. As you take a look at the key players today, Spradling, who you see up there, just picked up his second personal foul.
Well, we talk about single-handedly carrying your team, and Rodney McGruder, those 25 points have come in about the same amount of time on the floor.
Nice move inside by Dotson. He picks up his first two this afternoon.
Well, Dotson, the third leading scorer for the Golden Eagles, off the bench for Larry Eustace. Nice quick move. May have gotten away with a hook, but right into the chest. And that's what I've been talking about of Enriquez. You got to go to the body of the shot blocker.
Enriquez picks up his first personal foul. So at the line is Darnell Dotson, a transfer from Kentucky.
Remember the halftime talk by Frank Martin. If you don't rebound, you don't play defense, you're going to be in for a dogfight. Well, sharpen the claws, K-State, because Southern Miss is not going away.
Spradling drives. We just saw that he had been scoreless in the first half, and he picks up his first two right there.
And that's just a nice play coming off the screen. And Southern Miss has got to be able to have somebody step out from the screener and kind of hedge the cutter, keeping them from that direct path to the basket.
Dotson in the backcourt. Rashard McGill out there. This is Dotson with a three from Greenville, Maryland. He's a senior. He hits a long-range shot, and now he has put in 6 with his first 3 this afternoon.
Talking about stretching the floor for a big. Not necessarily a great shot, Lynn, but having the presence of mind to knock it down.
Well, he's starting to feel it. You know how that feeling was. You've had it a few times,
a couple times.
Shane Southwell is in. He came off the Frank Martin bench back in the first half and gave some terrific rebounding for the Cats. Under 13 to play here in game 1 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The round of 64 in the East region. 4 to shoot for Rodriguez. Henriquez with a screen for Rodriguez. Rebound yanked down by Dotson.
Well, when you're down 5,
thrown away.
They're very fortunate on the turnover. Once again, a lackadaisical pass. But here on the last basket by Dotson, he's just feeling it. He was at the right spot in shooting the 3. He knows he's got the size advantage over Southwell.
Plus 18 points, Southern Mississippi beyond the arc. Significant number. The two friends, Watson and Spradling, both from Kansas City.
Watson doing a good job of running him off that three-point line.
I was going to say, you can't get away from him.
Mills is defending Henriquez. And some help there from Darnell Dotson, who came over to swipe him across the side with 12:18 to play here in the second half. This year, enjoy more madness with Coke Zero. Text DUNK to 2653 for a chance to win a trip to the 2012 NCAA Men's Final Four. Here is Enriquez at the free throw line.
Looks like Torrey Pelham getting ready to check in at the scores table. It'll be real interesting. That ankle turn looked pretty nasty in that first half. We'll see what his mobility will be.
He'll take the plays to Jonathan Mills. Close games have been kind of a way of life for Southern Mississippi. They've had 22 games, Len, decided by single digits, and in those games, the Golden Eagles have gone 16-6. That is the second most in Division I college basketball.
Well, again, we talk about how Larry Eustace puts this team together. He's got a bunch of mature players. They've played on different levels, junior college, etc. But they've got enough games under their belt. They've got the maturity to be able to handle crunch time.
This may be the best offensive unit on the floor for Eustace. You've got Page, Watson, Dotson.
Larry Eustace surveys.
Eat fresh.
Back in Pittsburgh with Southern Miss up 3, and Lashay Page has certainly been the star for Southern Miss so far today. But what he has been through lately has been amazing for a young man. On February 22nd, his mother, Kathy, passed away due to complications from asthma. Instead of running towards his family, he ran to basketball. The night she passed away, he played a game at UTEP. The day after her funeral, he played a game at home. And I asked him why he did that. He said, my mom had 2 goals for me in life. Number 1, play college basketball. Number 2, be the first person in my family to graduate. And Kevin, I can tell you, he will not only graduate, he'll graduate early in June. He said, that's the best way I can honor my mom, play basketball and go to school.
Well, she left much too young. She was 38 when she died, a tragedy. But you know what? It's brought this team together in so many ways.
Well, again, your team has to be your family.
Little foul on the perimeter with 11:56 to play here in the second half. Three-point shooting has been the key for Southern Mississippi.
Are you one of us?
The 9th seed on top of the 8th seed, Southern Miss out of Conference USA. Notice, Len, plus 18 points beyond the arc for the Golden Eagles.
That's right. Southern Miss, they're pretty much neutralizing the size advantage that Kansas State has. Kansas State 22 points in the paint, but Southern Miss 7 of 14 from beyond the arc. They're getting the open shots.
Well, Magruder, 25 points is huge, but where's Spradling and where's Samuels? Some offense is going to have to come from other people for Kansas State.
What about the offensive rebounding for the Wildcats? They averaged during the season 14 offensive rebounds a game, and today only 3.
Yeah, and they're being out-rebounded on the offensive glass by the smaller Southern Miss team. They've got 7, and overall 25-18 has been the rebound advantage for Southern Miss.
Well, let's give Bolden, Mills, and Dotson a lot of credit, as well as Pelham, keeping those bigger guys off the glass, being hungry on the defensive glass.
And
Jordan Enriquez at the free throw line.
They've been able to get offensive rebounds because when they make penetration to the basket, Enriquez comes to help.
Right.
And then the black shirts follow to try to get the count.
Enriquez, by the way, is free throw shooter of about 52%, is 7 of 8 from the free throw line today. Watson was thinking about shooting layouts.
Just gonna say, come on, man.
Dotson. Big rebound inside by Pelham. Bad wheel and all.
That was a battle right there. Torrey Pelham got the best of that one.
Page hoisting a 3. Another offensive rebound inside. Finally grabbing it for the Wildcats is Enriquez.
K-State dodging bullets. 2 offensive rebounds. 2 wide open shots missed by Southern Miss.
Angel Rodriguez outside to Magruder, who's got 25. 2 for Spradling so far for the Wildcats. Johnson up on Spradling. Page is watching Magruder. Watson is on Rodriguez with the shot clock at 5. Slashing inside. Good rebound by the angular Jordan Enriquez, and a 6-0 run for Kansas State.
And that way, Enriquez did not allow Southern Miss to push him off the offensive glass. He held his own.
Southern Miss is led by as many as 5. Kansas State had an earlier lead of 9. We've had 6 ties and 4 lead changes in this game. On the fly, Page and a foul.
We're going to take a look at Enriquez once again, holding his spot on the drive. You see the help has to come, and Enriquez does the right thing. He gets position on the weak side of the glass and holds that spot.
That's one of those guards that's got to come down and get into the legs of Enriquez. Defensively, you've got to be on a string. This other end, Page is taking some shots. We saw the ankle injury at the end of that first half, just on that shot right there. Looked like he took a shot on the, I don't know if that was to the chest or to the shoulder. But this guy is a gamer.
Free throw shooting advantage has gone to Kansas State. They've taken 17 attempts to the 9 of Southern Miss in this contest. And the Golden Eagles back on top by 1. They are the worst shooting team, by the way, coming out of Conference USA. Good looking drive. It's Angel Rodriguez, and he has 6 for the Wildcats.
Well, Kevin, going back to your comment about the free throws, yes, Southern Miss is the worst shooting team from the field, but they get their points off the free throw line. They average about 23 free throw attempts per game. And Kansas State keeping them off the line, but they can't keep them from shooting from beyond the arc.
And from the field, this Southern Miss team is 258th in Division I college basketball, as Watson has that baby fly out of bounds and a turnover.
That was a wide open pass. Nice delivery. But here, Rodriguez, utilizing the screen, gets himself in the paint.
Well, also utilizing that left little chicken wing elbow, which pushed off Angelo Johnson.
Hey, no call, no foul, right?
Spradling, under 10 to play in the second half. Just noting again for Southern Mississippi, they are the worst shooting team in the conference, yet when they have shot below their opponent, they are still 13-8.
That's because they get to that line.
And they rebound well as well.
Got to do those things. Shot clock at 6. Rodriguez.
Nice delivery.
Looking for Henriquez. Nice deflection in there by Southern Mississippi. Angelo Johnson, coast to coast, knocked away. Another great rejection. That is the 5th by Henriquez. He's playing tennis out there.
One thing to be aggressive, another thing to learn your lesson.
Magruder gets a 3 to drop. 28. Keeping him alive. The leading scorer for Kansas State, Rodney Magruder.
Creating offense from your defense. Jordan Henriquez has been unreal as the last line of defense. You come up with a block shot, which leads to transition, a wide open Magruder knocking down yet another 3. 28 big points in today's contest for Rodney Magruder.
And that leads to your coach coming out the half court to get in your face. Whereas Angelo Johnson heard everything from Larry Eustace. Once again, it's one thing to be assertive. It's another thing to learn your lesson. You got a terrific shot blocker in there. Why are you trying to take him one-on-one?
For Southern Mississippi, Cedric Jenkins is checked in for the first time. That's a 3 by Lashay Page. Scrambling for it, Page, a wide open triple. Taking it out. How about that? Thompson went up and was jousting with Jamar Samuels of the Wildcats. Wildcats on an 11-2 run right now.
You talk about scrapping. That's what these Golden Eagles are doing right now. See the long shot right there, and look at the battle for the loose ball. Outstanding hustle right there by Cedric Jenkins.
Dotson averages 11 points a game. It is the 4th most among D1 players who have no starts. We told you he was a transfer from Kentucky as Pelham will check out. They bring back in Bolden. There were some off the court problems for Dotson, arrested for grand larceny in the spring, but he has earned his way back on the team.
Well, actually, he was originally intending to go to Pittsburgh.
Yes, he was. Exactly.
And was academically ineligible. It's amazing how you get back. And here in Pittsburgh, he's playing for Southern Miss in the NCAA tournament.
Spradling off a screen. Will Spradling has been struggling with his shot this afternoon.
That's one of those shots I haven't touched the ball in a while. Then you just get it up on the rim.
That's what we call frustration shots.
He's 1 of 4. Cedric Jenkins on the fly. Just came off the bench. Puts it down, his first 2 off the Eustace bench.
It was interesting with Watson and Cedric Jenkins. They have a chance to watch the flow of the game from the bench. That's why they're not here in the wrath of
Never stop improving.
Some nice blocking by Henriquez.
Well, you've got to have good hands and good footwork. Timing is essential. Henriquez doing a great job. 3 blocks today. Right at the shoulder length, Jordan Henriquez. Good timing, footwork, and patience down low.
But I'm wondering, where is the guy that Henriquez is guarding? Why isn't he following up? And the guy who's getting a shot block, why isn't he trying to draw a distance?
Henriquez just cannot. You can see the frustration 3 times today. He's been on the doorstep trying to slam, and the door.
Sometimes you gotta live mas.
And you take a look at our game reset with the contest tied at 51. Southern Miss is led by as many as 5. Kansas State has built a lead as large as 9. 7.5 to play here in the second half. At the free throw line from Port Chester, New York, is Jordan Henriquez, who now has 33 blocks in just less than 8 complete games. Amazing. Watch every 2012 March Madness game live on your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, or select Android phones with NCAA March Madness Live. Visit ncaa.com/March Madness for more information.
You're wondering, how is Southern Miss in this ball game shooting 36% from the field. Well, they're a +7 in rebounds and a +15 from beyond the arc.
Jenkins, Page, Bolden. Also Dotson on the floor. Knocked away. 9 was on the shot clock as the defensive screws were being tightened for Frank Martin's Wildcats. Henriquez picks up his 3rd personal foul for Kansas State.
Yeah, that's another way to try to neutralize a big fella, is to take him outside on the perimeter where he's not accustomed to guarding. Put it on the floor, take him to the basket.
Just because we're inundated with so many statistics, Kansas State under Martin, when they hold their opponents below 60 points, for what it's worth, 12-1 this season, but 44-3 right now. Southern Miss with 51.
And Southern Miss free throws have been your calling card all season as Bolden misses both of his. When you're struggling from the field, you've got to get the easy ones from the free throw line.
Rodriguez tries to make a drive. Jenkins was there defending.
One of the things about Rodriguez that you understand, he's not the quickest guy afoot out here, but the way he gets past his man is really changing speeds. He'll stop, he'll make the defender stop, and all of a sudden a quick burst of speed gets head and shoulders past him. You don't have to have quickness, you just have to have intelligence and how to read the defender.
So at the free throw line, the freshman from Miami, Angel Rodriguez, who came to this country when he was 15 years of age, and Reg spoke no English. Learned, he said, a lot just by watching television here in America. Now he finds himself as a starting point guard on an NCAA team in the Big 12.
I'd like to know what programs he was watching to learn. Maybe Dancing with the Stars or Unforgettable, one of your favorite shows.
Lizard Lick Towing, one of them. Bolden. Under 7 to play now here in the second half. Bolden across the lane with another foul, reaching in.
Now that's huge because now that is 4 fouls on Jordan Henriquez, and now Frank Martin has a decision to make. He's been so great small all season or all game patrolling that lane, making it very difficult for the Golden Eagles to drive. Now with that 4th foul, looks like he's going to be going to the bench.
Well, that's the 2nd consecutive drive by Bolden in the last 2 possessions for Southern Miss. So I think Larry Eustace and company have kind of figured out how to neutralize the big fella. Now they've gotten him put on the bench.
Yeah, but you got to capitalize. That's the 3rd straight free throw miss by Bolden. 67% on the season shooter from the free throw line.
Southern Miss, the most wins since joining Division I college basketball.
Each time that Bolden has got to the free throw line and forcing Henriquez to foul, the last 2 times he hasn't made the free throw.
Angelo Johnson is watching Spradlin. They have Watson on Irving, who just checks in for the Wildcats, along with Gibson, who's on the block. Magruder again. Rodney Magruder has been on fire with 30 points.
That's basically a 4-point swing right there. When you inability to make free throws, and then your best player at the other end is able to make offensive moves like Magruder.
Inspired performance.
We're beginning the round of 64, the second here in the East region. At the top, you can see Kansas State and Southern Miss. The winner of this game will take on the winner of Syracuse and UNC Asheville, which comes up next here in Pittsburgh.
Big story in college basketball, no Fab Melo. It'll be interesting to see the look by Jim Boeheim, by Keita, Hakeem Christmas. Going to get most of that time in the center position for the Orangemen.
A couple of young players. Then again, Melo's a young player. Dodson with the miss. And a good punch rebound there by Thomas Gibson, who's a freshman from Cedar Hill, Texas, and Cedar Hill High School. Dodson picks up his 3rd personal foul for the Golden Eagles. That'll send Gibson to the free throw line, a 53% free throw shooter. He began on a tear for this Kansas State team. He had 3 double-doubles in the first 7 games he had played. Then he has had none in that category. In fact, he hasn't scored in the last 4 games he's played, not including today. He had no points over the last 4. He comes off the bench, a big kid at 6'7" for Frank Martin.
Yeah, he does have some size and some girth. And as a freshman, you always wonder if he hit the wall.
6-0 run for Kansas State. Watson with the drive. And a great interception by Magruder. 3 steals by Rodney Magruder.
Frank Martin's defense is starting to step up the pressure for the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss.
Irving stripped to the ball inside. Looked like Cohen got a hand on it. Here comes Watson racing the other way. Outside, Angelo Johnson. Rebound grabbed onto by Darnell Dodson. He's got 7 rebounds. Hoisting the 3. Magruder is there.
And you can see the frustration on Larry Eustachy's face right in front of him. His offense has really bogged down. And they've been relegated to just playing one-on-one, which is playing right into K-State's hands.
Southern Miss has now missed 10, Reggie, of their last 11 shots from the floor.
This is when Magruder can take over this ball game with his ability to get by defenders and get into the lane.
Spradling lasering it inside to Gibson, who is quickly hacked inside with 4.5 to play. Magruder is 3 points shy of his career high.
Well, Rodney Magruder has just demonstrated some versatile skills. He goes to the basket hard. He's got the size to get the mid-range and float over his opponent. And in the end, and you talk about carrying a guy or a guy carrying a team, Rodney Magruder's got his team squarely on his shoulders right now in the offensive end.
With his 30 points this afternoon.
Well, with Samuels and Spradling really struggling offensively, it's had to been Magruder with timely baskets and drives by Angel Rodriguez as well. How about the defensive effort and points-wise, even though he has 4 fouls and is on the bench by Jordan Enriquez.
Frank Martin. Kansas State, before the season began, was a preseason 6th position team in the Big 12, and they work inside with Neil Watson. Rodriguez was right there, and Angel picks up his 2nd personal foul. Larry Eustachy has found success at different schools along the line. Eustachy was the coach at Iowa State, at Utah State. And now he's in his 8th season at Southern Mississippi. At the free throw line is Neil Watson. Well, speaking of the Big 12, here are some other teams from that terrific basketball conference in the NCAAs this spring.
Well, the one I'm looking forward to is Iowa State against UConn tonight.
Are you predicting an upset there, the way you said that?
Well, I'm looking forward to the battle. Either one of them could be a formidable opponent for Kentucky, which would be in the next round.
Jim Calhoun and his Huskies won a national title last year, back in the tournament after missing some late season games with spinal stenosis.
See, now you can't afford, if you can continue to foul Kansas State and send them to the line, they're knocking down their free throws. Martavius Irving just holding underneath the basket gets a chance because the Wildcats are in the double bonus.
Martavius Irving from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Boyd Anderson High School. He is a junior for Frank Martin. Take a look at the roster. They've got kids from all over the country. Washington, D.C., New York City, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Chicago, St. Louis.
Great recruiting there by Frank Martin.
He was an assistant for another guy who's in this Pittsburgh region. Coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers. After a year he left, and Frank Martin got the job. The drive inside by Lashay Page, and then tapped up and in.
Looked like Dotson got his hand on it.
He's got 10. Watson is all over Rodriguez. Jamar Samuels is Picked up by Dotson.
Yeah, Southern Miss doing a much better job of stepping out on the high screen.
Rodriguez. Gibson with a nice tap in. Pretty alley-oop. He's got 5 coming off the Martin bench.
Yeah, we talk about Rodney Magruder carrying the team, but Reggie, you mentioned it before. Angel Rodriguez just doing a terrific job of penetrating, putting all sorts of pressure on the Southern Miss D.
Angelo Johnson wheeling in. Watson outside. Rodriguez trying to close him. Rebound, another offensive one by Dotson. He's got 8 rebounds and then sinks the mid-range shot.
He's been huge off the bench for Southern Miss, keeping them in the ball game.
And if you're Kansas State, just when you thought it was safe inside.
Well, when do you come back with the big fella? Because all these offensive rebounds may have been negated if Jordan Henriquez was on the floor.
Well, I'd say probably the next time out, they will get him back in there. It would be approximately 2 minutes. And you can hopefully get your mileage out of him defensively when you need it if you got the lead, but you may not have it.
Darnell Dotson. He gets the steal. He's got 14. He brings Southern Mississippi to within 3. Timeout taken. 2:25 to play in our first game in Pittsburgh. The steal. He's got the last.
Simple joy of
mint.
You see the foul story, the timeout story. 2:25 to play here in regulation.
Well, I talked about when you bring Jordan Henriquez back into the ball game. Well, he's back in right now. I guess Kansas State recognizing that they're going to get pressured by Southern Miss.
Well, I don't mind the pressure, but you can't allow Angel Rodriguez to get by Neil Watson. They got to keep everyone in front of them, and it's paramount. They can't touch foul. Each team shooting double bonus right now.
That last play by Dotson, he just caught a sleeping ball handler.
Magruder, who just had the ball, hasn't taken a shot in 4 minutes. Great shot inside. Angel Rodriguez with the dive in the reverse.
If you're Southern Miss, it's got to be frustrating. You've got to keep him. If you're Neil Watson, keep Rodriguez in front of you.
Not only that, but the weak side had their heads buried. And Rodriguez got so deep in, they couldn't help.
Rodriguez has 8. Close range shot by Johnson won't go. Angel Rodriguez has also been good today in turnovers, and when he's got a positive assist turnover ratio, Kansas State is 17-3, and with him as a starter, 9-2, and those are the numbers aligned right now for the Wildcats with the timeout taken. Magruder is put in 30. Kansas State with 1:27 remaining, getting the other.
Frosted Flakes.
They're great.
You can see no fouls to give here with 1:27 to play in regulation.
To me, it's all about defensive pressure, but with a purpose. You can't allow drivers to get by, force them to screens, hard double, but keep them in front.
Here's Rodriguez. 4 assists this afternoon. He's also got 8 points.
There's the pressure right there.
And they got it with the breakaway. Watson. He's got 16 off the bench, the leading scorer. He averages 12 a game for Southern Mississippi.
And that's with purpose. Torrey Pelham doing a good job of overplaying Henriquez. You don't need a silly foul here. Hard pressure with a purpose.
Get your hands off him.
Foul will go on Watson.
Season begins Tuesday at 9:30 on True TV.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. 57.2 seconds to play here in the second half. Coming up next in this East region, it'll be the Bulldogs of UNC Asheville against the Orange of Syracuse, a top seed team. Fab Melo, the sophomore from Brazil, ruled ineligible. He will not play in this tournament. So they'll have, as Reggie talked about, a couple different guys taking his place. He had missed some times with an eligibility rule earlier in the season. One of the many distractions for that Syracuse team. As we see 57.2 to play here, and Southern Miss down by 3. Rodriguez at the free throw line, where he is 0 of 2 this afternoon. Jordan Enriquez has just had one of those games, just like the handful of games he's played, Lenny, coming into today. Already 15 points, 9 rebounds, 6 blocks for Coach Frank Martin.
Yeah, he's been a monster in the middle on both ends, but particularly as the intimidator on the defensive end, he's really had a significant input in the poor shooting of Southern Miss. They're only shooting 37% from the field.
Now you got to go quickly if you're Southern Miss. 2 or 3, either one.
A little contact there, surprise. No call.
Pelham gives off to Watson, setting the screen. Spradling is right there with the defense. Shot clock is down to 17. Johnson for 3. A Kansas State rebound grabbed by Jamar Samuels. A quick foul on the Golden Eagles.
Boy, you could have gotten a better shot than that. A step back 3 with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. There are opportunities. You know, obviously it's a 2-possession ball game, but you want to make the most of the time that you have, and a step back 3 is not maximizing that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think a 2 going to the basket, and then you play the foul game, especially the way Kansas State is shooting their free throws down the stretch. But that was a desperation step back 3 by Dotson.
Yeah, and remember, Enriquez has 4 fouls. So I think he'd be hesitant as far as going to penetration. He'd be hesitant to go after it full throttle.
Fouling out, Darnell Dotson. Rodriguez at the free throw line for Kansas State. 31.4 to play. Dotson finishes with a double-double, 14 points and 10 rebounds for Coach Larry Eustachy.
Been a while since we saw Jonathan Mills starting center for the Southern Miss ball club.
Rodriguez again. Henriquez out there. Samuels on the floor. Spradling, Magruder, and Irving, the 5 for the Wildcats.
Well, if you're going to extend the game, there's still time to take a quick 2. You wonder, in fact, if Kansas State is going to play you or guard you if you're going to take a 2. They don't want to risk a foul.
Lashay Page for 3. And a rebound vacuumed in by Samuels. And now Southern Miss has missed their last 7 3-point attempts.
But again, I always wonder why teams in a 2-possession ball game, still reasonable amount of time, why they don't go hard to the basket for the quick 2, knowing that they're going to extend the game. Get the quick 2, then you foul, now you start extending the game, even though you're going to need a 3.
But even driving into the lane and having the defense collapse where you can dish it back out for a 3. They weren't even looking at that.
Frank Martin obviously going to be pleased with a win. You've got to be concerned by the fact that, one, a smaller Southern Mississippi team has pretty much out-rebounded them, particularly on the offensive glass, throughout this game.
He said it leading into our broadcast. Kansas State led the Big 12 in rebounding, +5 rebounding margin, sizable margin. So they're going to have to get that straightened out before they go to the round of 32.
Well, 45 points combined from Magruder and Henriquez. That's huge, those 30 points by Magruder, but in the next game, they're going to need Samuels and they're going to need Spradling shooting, certainly.
Samuels again. He's got his first point.
That made it a 3-possession ball game.
Watson. And the long 3 is up and in by Jenkins, who is well beyond the arc. That makes it a 4-point game, 6.4 to play. Full court pressure you can see getting into Spradling, and the ball was knocked away. Much to the chagrin of Coach Larry Eustachy, who was right there.
Take a look quickly. Ball goes inside.
Kind of hard to see.
Couldn't tell what happened there.
I thought there was a foul there on Neil Watson, on Angel Rodriguez. You don't know whose hand touches this as the ball's going out. That might have been off Spradling.
It was off Spradling.
Yeah.
It never touched the foot of Neil Watson.
Enriquez has just had one of those terrific games that Kansas State needed out of him today. We told you about his 15-9 rebound, 6-block shot performance. Frank Martin was talking to us before practice yesterday. He said he used Jeff Withey of Kansas as an example of a guy who has gotten better as the season has gone on. He said, if he can do it, you certainly can do it.
Yeah, it's not about skill. It's about confidence. The skills that Enriquez is showing, and shot blocking and the ability to shoot inside, he's already had them. He's just got to have the confidence to use them.
The Wildcats have won, and now advance to the round of 32, beating Southern Mississippi 70-64. Now they will wait and play the winner of number 1 seed Syracuse and UNC Asheville coming up next year in Pittsburgh. Now for Reggie Miller, Lenny Elmore, and Marty Snyder, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Kansas State has won by 6. Tournament games continue live on CBS, on TNT, and TBS. Syracuse and UNC Asheville coming up on True TV. We'll send you to our